Welcome to American Roundtable. I'm Al Spry. We have Lori Chiavella sitting in for Bill Strickler today. And Lori, welcome to another edition of American Roundtable.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
It's great to have you, and we're going to talk about creating a more perfect union. Now that we're out of a presidential election, how can we make America better? You know, I don't want to steal taglines. We'll just say, how can we form a more perfect USA? That's today's show, and we'll be talking about that with our friend Lori, and just kind of having a little fun, getting a little onto a different topic that we haven't really hit too much. So, Lori, you're a proud American, right?
Absolutely.
Me too. I want to make America as good as it can be.
Yep.
I want everyone to partake in the American dream, Democrat, Republican, Independent, old, young, middle-aged, white, black, brown, any color. We can all live together in harmony.
Absolutely.
If we just remember two things. One is respect each other, right? Do the golden rule. Treat unto others as you would have them treat unto you. It's not do unto others before they do it to you. That's something else. It's put it out there in a positive way. Try to work together. Collaboration, cooperation, partnership.
Absolutely. Hit the nail on the head. Partnership.
The only time you should look down on somebody is when you're helping them up.
I like that, Al.
Thanks.
I think I'm going to use that.
You can steal that one freely.
Oh, absolutely. No charge?
No,
Awesome.
not for you. For Bill, I would probably hit him
okay.
up for some. You're abundant now. How to be abundant, live abundantly, have joy. Have you read my book? You're going to read my book.
I am.
And then we're going to talk about it next show.
All right.
It's at yourabundantnow.com. It's an ebook, very easy, right through Amazon, $5.99, the cost of a coffee, and you'll change your life. Can you change your life for the cost of one coffee? Is it worth it?
Depends on what coffee you're getting. I don't know. Have you been to Starbucks lately?
That's what I'm saying. It's cheaper than the Starbucks.
Your book might be cheaper.
It is. It is actually now cheaper.
That is what I'm saying.
If you get a venti, and it's, that's like, 6 and change now.
Yep,
so, yeah.
Absolutely.
Cheaper than did I say coffee?
Cheaper than a coffee.
Cheaper than a coffee.
And life-changing, right?
It is.
Life-changing.
I would say so.
For $5.99, can't beat it.
I've collated all the learning that I learned over decades about human improvement, how to, be happier, live a better life, and so I kind of put it all into one book, which is 60 pages. It's not even that long.
Love
people have shorter attention spans now. I didn't want to be just rambling on for 150 or 200 pages. So
such a jack of all trades, I must say. An author, a real estate agent, a radio host, TV host.
And fun at parties.
Fun at parties.
Absolutely, without
good
a doubt.
heart, great mind.
Yeah,
awesome.
I want to do better for people. I think that God put me on this earth to try to leave it a little better than when I found it. So if I can make everyone feel when I've left them that they feel better, it doesn't happen every time. I do get cranky occasionally, but for the most part,
don't we all?
We do. Yeah. And we have to be forgiving of each other. What happened to forgiveness? It doesn't seem like people are as forgiving as they used to be.
I agree.
And I want to talk a little bit about that. How can we forgive each other more? Understand that we make mistakes. I was raised by a perfectionistic parent, so it was very hard for me, even to this day, to sometimes make mistakes. But I have to remember that mistakes are part of being human, and it's a learning. That's how you learn. So mistakes are okay. We're all going to make mistakes, But that's what this show's about. Keep watching. The TV 38, we're here. It's American Roundtable, talking about how to make a better USA right after this. It's American Roundtable. My friend Lori is here with me, Lori Chiavella. She's with a company called Red Door Title when she's not doing stuff here at American Roundtable. I'm with, of course, Beacon Real Estate and Associates. That's my company, and we handle real estate across Central Florida in a happy and fun and positive way. And so I want to kind of take that energy and talk to Lori about ways to make America better, right? How can we make America better? And here's a big part of it. Healthcare costs, the way the healthcare system is set up now. Now, I'm more radical when it comes to what we need to do with healthcare. Mm-hmm. I think we should throw the whole damn thing out and go with socialized medicine like they do in Europe. because right now we have a broken system. And no matter how much you try to put a Band-Aid of Obamacare on it, it still has rising costs. It still has abuse of costs. I take a shot for eczema. The shot costs $1,800 a shot. I just think that's too much.
Yeah.
I think that's just all pure greed. I understand they want to have costs for things and development. Hey, I understand. It's not cheap to develop. But at a certain point, it gets to be greed. Right?
Absolutely.
And then my insurance company doesn't want to pay for it now. So now I have to get other ways to try to see if I can find a way. And so insurance companies are broken. The insurance system, healthcare system, I think, is broken. Can you still get quality healthcare? Yeah. But is it a tiered system? To a certain degree, it is now. And so that's my thought. What do you think? How can the country improve healthcare? Because it really is an important thing.
Oh,
Everyone's
absolutely. Healthcare is huge.
And education.
And affordable healthcare.
Right, and we're eating crap, which is
Absolutely.
shoveled to us in huge quantities, which doesn't help the healthcare situation.
No, not at all. I think that, like you were saying, the system is broken, and it really does need to go back to the foundation and rebuild, because what we're seeing right now is Big Pharma just taking advantage of the system and jacking up shots, like you're talking about, for eczema through the roof and making it unaffordable.
Jacking up diabetes drugs through the roof?
Absolutely.
They don't have to do that.
No, they don't. It is greed at its greatest, and then there's the whole thing where there really are just everybody has their hands in the cookie jar. Everyone wants a piece, and so when everybody wants a piece, you're going to drive up those costs.
Right.
And they're really not taking to heart what's best for the American people. And now, rising healthcare prices, through the roof healthcare prices, is not best for the American people. So what do we do? What do we do? And, I don't have that answer. I don't think, Al, you have that answer. But certainly the answer is not how everything is run right now.
Yeah, like I said, I know it's not a model that some people like, but I think we have to have some type of a government run with private sector partnership thing. Like that's where prices are capped. You have to cap. Otherwise, they're just going to keep going up and up and up. And then there's going to be less and less that's covered and less that's affordable, and people are going to die and you have to have education programs about what to eat and what not to eat.
Absolutely.
And stop making bad food so cheap. And then, so now a portion is 2 hamburgers? When did that happen?
And I mean,
a portion used to be 1 hamburger with a single patty. Mm-hmm. That's about a quarter of a pound. That's like a decent size. Now you got to have half a pound hamburgers, a pound, 2 hamburgers, 3 hamburgers. It's insane.
Absolutely. No, it is. And I can't remember the name, but what is it now that they finally have made illegal here in the United States, and apparently has been illegal all over the world, especially
you're talking about red dye?
Red dye.
Yeah.
I mean, it is horrible.
So red dye was illegal for a long time, and then in the 80s they made it legal again. Somebody pushed something through, right? Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, you couldn't get red M&Ms. You could get brown M&Ms and the yellow and the different colors, but you couldn't get red. All of a sudden they said, no problem. It wasn't any better. They just reintroduced it in.
Right.
And now they got to take it out again because it was bad the whole time.
And it's in everything. People are like, if it's red, it's the red dye. But the red dye will disguise itself, and it's not necessarily red.
Well, it could be red, it could be pink, it could be any shade of red.
Anything.
It's
Sprinkles. Sprinkles, for heaven's sakes.
Sprinkles!
Sprinkles. It's just, I'm serious. I mean, I've got 2 small kids, and I went through, and I pulled out everything, red, rosé, pink, light red.
We'll be right back. We'll talk more about how many red colors there are right after this on American Roundtable. Hey, welcome back to American Roundtable. Glad to have you here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Lori Travella. And do you like Italian food? You married an Italian guy? You just love Italian food.
I'll tell you something funny. So I absolutely love my pasta, my carbohydrates, Italian food. My husband, who is the actual Italian, fish, vegetables. Now, don't get me wrong.
He's
he'll
doing
eat
the Mediterranean diet.
Yes,
Yeah, that's good though, right?
He will eat some pasta, absolutely, but his diet is mostly fish and vegetables. It's so healthy. I can't even begin to touch it. So
no, I'm doing that now. I'm doing that. I went healthy.
Oh,
you know,
good for you.
You know, you get a certain age, you get the numbers back from your doctor. He starts, giving you the old, and I was like, all right. You know, I held it off as long as I could.
Yeah.
It's like the gray hair. Like I was in my 40s, I was like, I'm still putting a little bit of that Grecian in there.
The shampoo diet, right?
Yeah, and then one day you go, this is too much trouble. I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yeah,
you
gotta. It's so much easier, right?
So
just
it's
embrace
easier.
it.
Now they call me the Silver Fox of Broadcasting, so it's fine. It all worked out for the
best. At least the Fox part stuck.
So how can the country address income inequality and create more economic opportunities for all Americans? Now, of course, Trump ran on that. Make America great. We're going to have opportunities. And every president runs on that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you think that's going to look in the next 4 years? What do you see happening? Anything along the horizon that you're looking at that you can see that's going to help people earn more and have a better life, maybe get that American dream back,
Well, I mean, whatever side you're on, Republican, Democrat, I think that we can all find a common ground in agreeing that by bringing more jobs back to America instead of farming them out to other countries, just because it's cheap labor. I mean, we understand that, but ultimately bringing those jobs back, it may take a little while, and it may be a little more expensive for the companies to produce them here in the States, but in the long run, it's going to support a better economy. It's going to create more jobs for the American people. And more importantly, I mean, we're going to be able to stand on our own. I mean, if you look at other countries, you go to their retail stores, for example, and you look on the back of something, whether it's a toy or a book, and it will say, made in Germany.
Right.
Made in, there's so much that is produced at home, whereas everything in the United States is farmed out, and it's really hurting us.
Like when I was a kid, 95% of the clothing was made here. Most of our items were made here, and that would have been I grew up in the 70s and 80s, right? And then it started to move out because there were globalist pressures to spread the wealth, and I understand there could be good intentions with that, but then you're starving at home, right?
Right.
So. And we keep having more kids. And we have a bigger population. Mm-hmm. But we have less opportunities.
Less resources.
So it's about creating opportunities in new ways and also not losing all that technology and stuff to the Chinese who just de-engineer and re-engineer everything.
Technology is huge. It's a huge component, just as much as bringing jobs back to the United States. It's actual jobs. Don't substitute the in-person. Yeah, it may be a little cheaper, but don't substitute that interpersonal touch with a screen, because
it has to do with this.
It's greed. Greed is the common denominator.
And how do you stop the greed? Because we mentioned greed earlier.
Right.
You know how you stop it? People need to focus on God instead of money. Now, money is great, and every commercial says you got to have money, and every song says you got to have money, and I understand money is necessary, but I think money is aggrandized a lot more than it was 30 or 40 years ago, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. We didn't really have that super greed, materialism thing happening, where everybody is brainwashed to want a lot of stuff that's expensive. Right. And so that creates, I have to get the money now so I can be hip and own this thing and own this thing and own this thing. I think maybe we need to kind of look at that.
Well, I think that boils down to the media.
It is.
The media.
It is all media-driven.
It's media-driven. It's the
screens.
It's the screens. It's what the kids see.
We'll talk more about the screens right after this. It's those screens. American Roundtable. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back on American Roundtable. Thank you so much. A lot of good insight from you today.
Yes.
It's great.
And you.
Thank you. So, screens. Yeah, how do we get off the screens? I think the screens, what are they going to start putting the cloud right into our heads. That's like going to be the next thing, right? We'll be attached to the cloud. That's what they're saying.
Right.
And then that's going to be interesting. It'll be virtual reality within virtual reality.
You just have something stuck straight to your head.
Oh,
and
my
you're just
goodness.
glued to a screen.
I don't know, man. I don't want to be around for it. I don't think I want to be. I want to see that.
How do you avoid it, though, right?
I don't know, man. Retire and just drop out. Tune in, turn on, drop out, as Timothy Leary used to say. Just because stuff's out there doesn't mean it has to be adopted by everybody. But they're brainwashed to adopt this stuff. We don't really need as much technology as we succumb to, as we have to have. We don't need a new iPhone every year. I don't think we do. Mine's a few years old. It works fine.
Right.
I don't think we need to have the latest and greatest technology. I mean, what's going to happen? We'll all be replaced by robots because we're going to embrace these robots and this AI to such a degree that people are going to become, I don't know, I hate to say it, obsolete.
Mm-hmm. It's possible. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to put an end to interpersonal communication, and we're all going to just be glued to our screens, and and it's going to happen. It's
People
happened.
are.
It's happened. It's not happening.
I go to a place
it
and they're
happened.
like this. Everybody's
Yes.
like this.
Yep.
That's all they're doing. They're
Absolutely.
doing this, so.
It's a shame,
God, we can change it. We can change it. That's what I'm
know.
saying. Creating a more perfect USA means changing bad habits, maybe with better habits. Can we do that? Can we try to change our bad habits for better habits? They're fighting RFK Jr., who wants to head up health because he's got too many good ideas.
Yeah, he does. I mean, I think that he is really going for a better America, a healthier America, which is part of being better.
Right, but
And-
these people are so bought and sold, the people in the club, that they don't want a healthy America.
Right.
They want an America that's unhealthy, frightened, angry, manipulatable, and into slave stuff, like slave lab type labor, where they just kind of just say yes sir, whatever. But I think if we are the global leader, and we still are, we're still the greatest country in the world as far as our influence and what we've done. We need to find ways to take care of our folks, but also we are the world's policemen now, for better or for worse. So that's not going to change.
Yeah.
It used to be England. Now it's us, right?
Yeah.
And so we have other countries who want to be the global dominant. China and Russia come to mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really us three. It's
Yep.
been that way since we opened China up in the 70s, right? And
Power struggle.
so we're in a position now where we can influence things in a good way or in a not good way. I don't know if we're influencing the world in necessarily a good way, but we are influencing the world.
Mm-hmm.
And
People do look to us. For sure.
And how do we balance the priorities at home with the responsibilities abroad? What are some thoughts you have on that?
Okay, priorities at home with everything. I'm sorry, say that again because
Priorities
I
on
gotta
like
digest
the people
that.
and like focusing the home versus focusing everything abroad. How do you balance the two?
That's a tough one, if you're talking about in the home, it can go back to parenting. You could really dive deep into the home and the family unit and, how that plays a part in forming a perception or the vision globally. I would say that that's the start, having that foundation.
Starts at home.
Starts at home.
What happened to the family? It's not doing
The
so good.
family unit.
It's not doing as well as it used to.
What do they say? I think it's 50% of marriages end in divorce
I think
now.
it's even more now. I think
It
it's
could
even a
be.
little
It
more
could
now.
be.
Yeah.
Which is just sad, And now it's like, oh, this is my second marriage. It's almost become a common practice when you meet someone that. They could be in their 20s or 30s, early 30s, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is my second marriage, second wife, second husband," and it's just common. You're like, "Oh, okay," we've just taken it. Whereas, decades ago, it was not.
And I think really it comes down to this: be sure who you're going to marry. Like, really get to know them. I don't recommend getting married to somebody after a week or two, which happens a lot.
So no mail order brides, right? Mail order brides, is that gonna?
Right.
Yeah. I'm thinking maybe
Get to know your mail order bride.
Right,
in other words, right?
Yeah, just
yeah.
Facebook messages.
I have friends of mine who actually have mail order bride. And they're very happy, but they got to know them. Get to know whoever it is.
Oh, yes,
Don't
agreed.
just be swept off your feet into love and then find out that they're manipulating narcissists and it's not as much fun.
Right? Yeah, a little bit. Those green cards are real attractive.
Yeah, I think we got to get back to the family unit. And, there used to be one breadwinner. The lady would stay at home. If she could also be a career woman, but it was hard to balance. It's still hard to balance, I think, both. But now that you have everyone having an income, now you can't really have a stay-at-home mom. I don't think it really is possible.
No, you have come to a point in society where you have to have two people working to afford life, to afford eggs.
Yes, that's true.
It's no longer feasible for the upper middle class or middle class to say, I'm a stay-at-home mom and live in that same lifestyle.
So then you got kids who are being raised by television and daycare centers. Well, who knows what they're being exposed to. And of course, I don't think that's very healthy. Anytime you sit a kid in front of a TV, I'm a good example of that. Even though my mother was home, she like, here, go sit in front of the TV.
It is easy. Well, now it's not the TV. Now it's the tablet.
Now it's the tablet.
Now just take the
These
tablet.
little kids with the tablets, like, why aren't they interacting? They go out to eat, and everyone's looking at a tablet. Why aren't they interacting? They went out to eat together.
100%. Now, I've got two small children, so they are not allowed to have their tablet at dinner unless it is a dinner that is a brunch where we know it's going to be 3 hours, and, I mean, it's a 3 and a 5-year-old. And so,
do they have tablets?
They do have tablets with very, very limited time.
More stuff to help them learn.
And education, 100%. There are no games on there whatsoever that are not education focused of some capacity.
So you want them to be familiar with the technology, but not held hostage by it, in other words.
But I'll agree. I mean, even with the educational tablets that they are given, I see an instant change in my son when he's given that. He will tune me out. It doesn't matter if he's doing math or, whatever it is. I have to say his name over and over and over again. And it's not until I get in his face. But that's with his tablet, If he's sitting there playing with his trains, he's responsive immediately.
Well, we have run out of time. I know we had so many cool conversations. We have solved all the world's problems. I'm really happy with this. I'm feeling very good. Thank you again, Lori, for coming on American Roundtable. You're welcome anytime. I know Bill's a little jealous because, you're much prettier. And y'all keep it real and keep it tough. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.